just picked up and left as soon as he could and came straight here. We left our families back at home, not just the British civilians, but American and Australian as well. And we want to know what is being done for the security of our own families that we've left behind back in the UK and the US, where there's, don't quote me on the number, but there were close between 100 to 200,000 pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, chanting "Kill the Jews" on the bridge in front of by Big Ben, and it's just, we thought, you know what, at least, you know, maybe our brothers and our sisters and our people and our nation isn't safe in the Middle East, but we were relying upon the British and the Australian government to have that hold on our own people back at home, especially.
First of all, I want to say how strongly I condemn the language that's used, the sort of genocidal meaning of some of these slogans, and it's horrific to see this returning to the streets of the West. Absolutely horrific. And it's such a misunderstanding, to your point, it's such a misunderstanding of the reality. And we've got to stop it, and we've got to be very tough on it. And I think that the police in the UK have a job to do to make sure that there is no incitement to hatred, let alone violence, and that anti-Semitic attacks of all kinds are punished with the full force of the law. But I also want to pay tribute to the work of the Community Security Trust and everything that they do. The CST in our capital, who do an amazing job and around the place. So there is a huge amount of work going on there. I think what I would try to say to you about your relatives is that I do believe, as a former mayor, that London remains a very safe place, indeed. They are in one of the safest big cities on earth, and they should have nothing to worry about. They should have nothing to worry about. But what makes me so dismayed at the moment is the language that is being used and the sheer incomprehension that seems to have taken root about the fundamentals of the issue.
Do you think the UK can show more in-house support? Do you think the UK can show more in-house support? Besides for, I'm saying obviously we've been very...
In-house support, you mean for...
Send out to Israel, but within our own lands to be proud of who we stand for. So
look, I mean, I think we've got to do we've got to make sure that the Jewish community in every major capital feels as safe as it should, and London and all the great cities of the UK are no exception.
It's the same in Australia, and I would agree with Boris that the security situation in Australia and the support that's there is very strong. But that said, I know, and one of the reasons I decided to come here, and I know it's one of the reasons Boris decided to come and take Benny's invitation, is that I don't want the Jewish community in Australia to feel isolated and unsupported in their own country and be seeing what they're seeing said and in their own country where they live. I mean, one of the most upsetting things, strangely, is that young schoolgirls don't want to put on their school uniforms because it identifies them as a Jew. And I just cannot have conceived that could have happened in a multicultural, successful country like Australia, but it is happening. And so that's, I think, why it's really important. How do I explain to my own daughter why I would have chosen to come here? So that, you know, girls her age, and boys, don't have to feel like that, and that they know that people that have been in positions of authority, as Boris and I have, stand with them, and we identify with them, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, but look, I mean, let's confront it for what it is, okay? Underneath the floorboards of European civilization, and actually across the world, there is a spore, a virus of anti-Semitism, and it just sometimes can come out, and it needs to be eradicated again, and that's all there is to it. And I'm afraid that people are getting an entirely false appreciation of what is of the issues here, and that is driving intolerance and prejudice of a kind that we thought had been forgotten. And so what Scott and I want to do is try to restore some of that clarity to to the debate, because I think that's where it's going wrong. I think people just need to remember that Israel suffered an absolutely barbaric terrorist atrocity and is trying its best as a civilized, decent democracy to deal with it, with all the complexities and difficulties that throws up.
Thank you. Thank you.